you, Ms. Radowagen.
Thank you, Chairman McGovern and Talofa Lava and Ranking Member Cole for hosting this roundtable to discuss food insecurity in the territories. Your efforts to combat hunger in our nation are appreciated, and I want to express my sincere gratitude for being included in this important discussion. I also want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your tremendous support last year to include an increase in disaster nutrition assistance for American Samoa. The value of your continued support of vulnerable communities like American Samoa cannot be understated. Thank you to all the local guests from each district. We all appreciate you working with the time zone difference. And thank you to the staff for coordinating all of this. I also want to thank Director Mwabai Fatasi of the American Samoa Department of Human and Social Services, who unfortunately could not join us today due to a scheduling conflict, but who has graciously agreed to submit a statement for the record. I'm sure a full picture of American Samoa will be included in documents submitted for the record, but in lieu of Director Suisala's verbal testimony, I'd like to briefly touch upon some of the issues faced by my home district, to which I'm sure my territorial colleagues might relate. The majority of American Samoa lives below the poverty line, as there's a clear connection between poverty and food insecurity.
This meeting is being recorded.
Our population is particularly sensitive to any changes in government food subsidies like food stamps. The standards by which the rest of the country measures the need for food stamps simply cannot encapsulate the needs of our territory. While our block grant program should offer some flexibility by separating us out from the federal SNAP benefits, the eligibility for food stamps doesn't always reflect the relative needs of our population. So I want to reiterate my thanks to Chairman McGovern for his support for increased SNAP coverage during the crisis last year. And I hope that Congress can continue to offer that support as needed post-pandemic. In addition to economic struggles, our remote location also has an impact on food security. We import almost all of our food, and any interruptions in the supply chain are a direct threat to our people's well-being. While import and quality regulations are important to keep our supply chains safe from foodborne illness and illegal activity, it sometimes is the case that bureaucratic action impedes the flow of goods, causing prices to rise. And as a result, the most unfortunate of us can go hungry. So our island has been struggling to secure the services of a dedicated USDA certified meat inspector for quite some time now. We've been relying on off-island inspection, which adds extra time to the process. It's prone to delays. The meat has to sit in a refrigerated container until a inspector comes down from the States to inspect it. Our local people have also expressed concerns about their ability to bring food from Western Samoa. And while the two Samoas are very close and have strong ties to each other, the fact that Western Samoa is an independent country means moving goods between islands is subject to import regulations, which add yet another layer or two of difficulty, even when locals are just trying to send food to their families. An otherwise close and convenient source of food is rendered too complicated to take advantage of. Regulations that don't take into account local circumstances not only affect imports, but also local food sources. For example, differing interpretations of procurement regulations have made it difficult for our local Department of Education to use local produce for our school lunch program. A workaround exists, but the resulting subcontracting structure means that local farmers are losing a cut of their profits to middlemen, which in turn disincentivizes them to participate So neither the farmers nor the school children can fully benefit from such arrangements. So these are just a few highlights of complicated relationship between government policies and our ability to feed our families. But in addition to the standard regulatory concerns, there's another aspect of food security that I'd like to hear from our guests today. That is local culture. Our local territorial administration on aging, or TAOA, provides a hot meals program for our elderly. However, our elders have often complained to me that they are dissatisfied with the program as the government standardized meals do not always align with the local palate. They would also prefer a system that allows them to share and eat food with their families. Eating together is a very important communal experience in our culture. And in fact, the program was initially designed to be a congregated meal service, but due to logistical issues and lack of transportation from remote villages, this doesn't always happen. So while the standardized meals technically meet all their basic nutritional needs, and the TAOA officials do their best to care for our elders, many of our elderly feel the resulting structure is an overly inflexible and impersonal experience, and they are unable or have even refused to engage with the program as a result. I want to turn it over to our guests to share any examples from their communities. What role does local culture play in addressing food security? Have there been any instances where government efforts to address the physical problem of hunger have come into conflict with the more humanitarian elements of helping our people?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will now turn to Mr. Hernandez. I mean,